This activity by Sir Domingo is entitled Cyberbullying in School Prevention and Support. It's based on the observed incidents of cyberbullying online and in the workplace. This activity, which Domingo will be doing with a male and a female participants in Leyte Normal University, will have the objective of focusing on providing awareness on the effects of cyberbullying of students in online learning and working spaces. It seeks to provide preventive measures and support as bullying expands to the realm of online teaching due to the restrictions of the pandemic. The first part of the activity will involve an assessment and an overview of Republic Act number 10627, otherwise known as the Anti-Bullying Act of 2013. And the second part, a discussion on the effects of cyberbullying prevention and support. Domingo takes from the work of Cross, Richardson, Douglas, Monkel, Flatt, entitled Virtual Violence, Protecting Children from Cyberbullying, and from the 2015 study of Robertson and Corrigan entitled Standing on the Edge, How School Leaders Apply Restorative Practices in Response to Cyberbullying and Online Aggression. Our evaluators, I suppose, having been joined by Charity, Leah, and Doris, will involve a midterm or a mid-evaluation activity for 10 minutes and a post-activity evaluation, of course, after everything is done after the last 20 minutes of the activity. We shall wait for Domingo and his two participants. Both are 22 years of age and are studying and working in LNU in the Bachelor of Science in Secondary Education program. While waiting, it might be a good idea to go through the references that Domingo utilized to help him design this activity. Domingo being already here, we'd like to turn over to him for the start of the activity.
Sorry, sir, for the inconvenience. Nadugay ko, sir.
It's all right. Please begin whenever you're ready.
Sige po, sir. Kanang sir, kanang ang apong participants, mao din ni sila si Sir Vincent Soyum, sir. Tapos si Ma'am Mary Joy Paloma, sir.
Evening, sir.
Hello, good evening. Thank you very much for joining Domingo. I hope you'll all learn something from this 40-minute engagement. Go ahead, whenever you're ready, take it away, Sir Domingo.
Okay. So to start with this activity, kanang mag-pray sa kanang Ma'am Mary Joy. So please lead the prayer po.
In the name of the Father, Son,
Son
and
of
Holy
the
Spirit.
Spirit, Amen.
Our
Our Father.
Father, who art in heaven, holy be thy name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our bread, and we will. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen. So tonight's activity, we will discuss about the cyberbullying in school prevention and support. So, kan so sa first nga atong buhaton is maghatag ko ninyo og kanang questionnaire as a way nga mag-assess about sa bullying. So, Ma'am Richoy or Ma'am Sir Vincent. Kindly answer this in 4 minutes po. So in this activity, sir, kanang ma-assess din kung unsa ilang ways sa paggamit sa technology, kung kinsa ang kanang na bully, unsa ilang experience o kinsa ang nang bully o unsa pud yun sa nila, sir. Okay. Kanang, are you done, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Um, ikaw, sir. Um, Okay na. Okay, so, okay na inyong answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kanang, okay, so, after ninyo mag-answer is mag-sharing ta kung unsay inyo nga na-answer. So, Ma'am Mary Joy, Sir Vincent, paano, paano, paano ka importante para sa iyo ang technology
to communicate
to communicate?
to
Uh,
sudah kuan sudah mga important ba important mga important
na ano,
Communicate with family, friends.
family.
friends.
Uh,
Quite important. Quite, but siguro para na ko quite important kay kuan man kanang kay mo makadaot kung magsigil kag cellphone sa atong health, makadaot sa atong health.
so, how many times like, how many times ka ma'am na maggamit og cellphone from Monday to Friday?
More than 2 hours.
More than 2 hours? During weekend po ma'am?
Uh, 5 hours.
5 hours.
Medyo addicted, mga addiction na gyapon kuan cellphone gamit
Sige sir.
mga favorite movies,
Yung,
Facebook,
So,
so,
TikTok.
sa paggamit ninyo og kanang mga social media, kanang nakatry na mo nga nabully mo?
kuan ra, sumug ra sa akong mga barkada. Sumug ra sa akong mga barkada, anak lang.
So, unsa man yung pagkuan?
Kaya sumugod ra about sa past relationship, anak lang.
Yan.
Pero na ko, di man ako mo pag idibdibon jud na ako kay mo. Kuan ra ba to para sa katawaan naman sa to. Oo, ningaw-ningaw ra. So, okay sa dala ko.
So, how about sa kanang sa imo na bully? Okay lang ba po?
Sa akong nabulim.
Oh.
Ako po, ganun usahay, musungog ko po, musungog sa Tunisia. Pero as in, di naman ito yung sakit nga, pero pag dito nga sakit, hurtful words, pero dito mga sakit nga words ako yung magpala, sumog rin sa suog.
Ikaw po, sa imo sir.
Kanang mao gyapon sir.
Yeah, po.
Ano,
Kalinawan na.
pero okay ra na ako na sir. Basta di lang ma-physical. Okay. Iba naman na pag istoryahan pa pag physical na.
Sige sir. So, as a student sir in LNU also, what do you think that the school should do to help students deal with cyberbullying?
Um,
Ano?
I think
Ano?
Para na po kanang kantak siguro mga seminars, activities para sa mga estudyante para makahibaw sila o sa mga effects about ano yung about sa cyberbullying, cause and effect para makahibaw sila sa mga cause and effects.
So, ikaw sir.
to train a group of senior students so they can teach younger students about online safety like that.
Okay po sir. So, okay. Okay, sir, since we have limited time, so I will proceed to the next about kanan. Nakahibaw na mo kung ano ang law about bullying.
Wow.
Sige,
Uy, may
so,
mga...
this time, we will discuss about an overview about a new Republic Act number 10627. So, ka na makita dito. So, in this law, acts for bullying For purpose of the act, only shall refer to any severe or repeated use by one or more students of a written, verbal, or electronic expression. It could affect sa usa ka student sa iyang physical, sa emotional, psychological nga aspect. So, an example ani is unwanted physical contact between the bully and the victim with punching, pushing, shoving, kicking, slapping, tickling, headlock, inflicting school pranks, and fighting and the use of available objects as weapon. And also, makadamage is just sa victims kanang emotional well-being. And any slanderous statement or accusation that causes the victim undue emotional distress, like dealing foul languages o kanang may mga student na maghatag og sakit na mga words sa iba na student.
Makasakit tayo.
Tapos name calling, tormenting and commenting negative on victims' looks, clothes, and body. And cyberbullying or any bullying done through the use of technology or any electronic means. So when we say cyberbullying or any bullying done through the use of technology or electronic means, kanang mo nang magamit ng social media, instead na face-to-face na pag-bully na gamit ng technology. The term shall also include any conduct resulting to harassment, intimidation, or humiliation through the use of other forms of technology, such as but not limited to texting, email, instant messaging, chatting, internet, social media, online games, or other platforms or format as defined in Deputy Order Number 40, Series of 2012. So, this law covers not only sa elementary or high school, but in real life, mahitabo gihapon is just sa workplace.
Oo, ubad.
Naka-experience mo.
Ba ako ka-experience noon to. Mayroon ko.
So, even our university president is hate niya ang kaning mangbully sa mga ka-workmates, mga iyana. Kay during one of his speech before na kanang may nanay nahitabo nga kanang wala na rin yung ang appointment tungod kay bully siya sa iyang katrabaho or sa mga student kanang murag may pagka-joker siya pero inabutang na sa time na nakapasakit na din siya sa uban na so mo na nga even though taas of educational attainment ang sa katao basta ang attitude po mag-matter dyan na siya ang imong kibali pakigdeal mo sa social environment sa pagdeal sa uban nga tao. So mga to nga kanang importante dyan nga dito mang bully. So at least na may idea about unsa niya law.
Oo, na dyan, sir.
So in this time, may ipakita ko ninyong video about bullying. Okay, so what unsa may nakuha ninyo nga lesson ato? Unsa may inyong nasabtan about sa video clip? Okay na.
Dapat before ta mo message mo sa laing tao mo bully ato jud sa ano hunaon pag maayo kay basta hindi ay kanang ato hunaon pag maayo para dili siya masakitan. Oo.
Hindi ka mag-hurt of feelings ba? Uban.
Oo. Pero isag baya mo to. Imo siya bulihon, imo ulo to. Sa wa siya gibuhat, ni imo lang bulihon. Oo, isa tayo na yun.
Okay, now so di ba appeal to sila sa usa ka group pero ang si Jan murag exclude si Jan niya tigihan og chat nga yan na si Jan ko anang ko nga abot nga na pakamatayan kadto nga student. Kanang sir ming abot na po bag 20 minutes sir.
Yes, yes, you have. Let's give Vincent and Mary Jane a break so we can proceed to the mid-activity evaluation. We'd like to thank you at this point, Vincent and Mary Jean, for helping, or Mary Joy, I should say, for helping Sir Domingo. Do take a break for 10 minutes and we will come back with you after our evaluation. We'll turn to the evaluators now. Uh, among Charity, Doris, and Leah, who would wish to give their comments first about how Sir Domingo can improve on the delivery of this activity concerning cyberbullying in school prevention and supports when he comes back to Vincent and Mary Joy for the second part, which will focus on prevention and support. Doris, Charity, Leah? While waiting for the three of them, they might be formulating their thoughts for the time being, Domingo. I'd like to turn your attention to the theories that were discussed in one of your references. I believe you took from Corrigan and Robertson's Standing on the Edge. It's a wonderful article choice because it really tells you what thoughts can guide people's formulation of prevention and supportive activities, especially in schools. So I think it's a very appropriate article. The article really centers on restorative practices. And I was hearing Mary Joy there saying that before we engage with people online, it's really important that we think about what we do before sending a message, or saying something to a person in, say, for example, a group chat or a webinar, etc. Um, this reminds me of what the article of Corrigan and Robertson says about the importance of empathy and increasing the amount of social presence. How do you think you can emphasize on helping Vince and Mary Joy kind of use or utilize these elements of social presence and empathy uh, to be able to, at their individual levels, avoid cyberbullying, or as the other article calls it, virtual violence? What can you do, you think, on the second part of your activity, Domingo, that can help them articulate or specify what they can do at the individual level to increase social presence and promote empathy?
mabuting kanang ano to sa pardon po sir.
Yes. Do you think in the second part, you can bring their attention to the two elements of empathy and social presence, as it appears in one of your references, the article by Corrigan and Robertson? What do you think you can do in the second part? Of course, you'll be looking or focusing into prevention and support. That means really pursuing the question as students of education, for example, which they are, as students of education, what can you do at your level, at the individual level, to help prevent cyberbullying and virtual violence and support social presence and empathy when using these online tools? We lost Domingo there. Charity and Doris, do you have any questions or any comments, Leah, for Domingo while we wait for him?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Good evening. Sa akong mid-evaluation, sir, ni Sir Domingo, so naay times nga mokusog ang isang tingog na apod usahay nga muhinay. Then, ang ako ra pong input, sir, kabahin sa social media or kabahin sa cyberbullying. So, since applicable naman na siya halos tanan, then most of us access ra pod, even mga lower mga bata pa ba. So, kay mauna po natong giyus ron na binakay kananang due to pandemic ba sir. So even mga bata pa so makamauna or nanay idea. So sa naa may benefits or na may mga advantages ang social media. But for example, in information drive, so more on educational like pareha ato nga gibuhat karon. So instead nga mo adto pa mig Cebu, maka-access rami through social media. So, through virtuals or webinars. So, advantage po na siya. Then, usually po ang business. So, ning boom na po ng mga online businesses. Then, but naapoy disadvantage labi na og di siya i-manage in responsive or being responsible. So, before ka mo ko answer, before ka mo type or mo himo og dautan nga move. So, once nga na naman ganing ka ana, you have to think kung unsa ang imong isulti or i-chat sa imong sa tao nga imong buot sendan kay wa ka kahibaw kung unsa nay depende sa iyang pag-accept sa usa ka word or sa usa ka sentence nga imong ihatag niya nga posible din na siya nga di niya madawat dayon then maghimo siya og into kana bitong sir mahimo na hinuon siyang ma-depress or makuan hinuon siya mo commit og suicide. So careful naman tatanan. So ang parents pod sir kinahanglan pod nga be observant sa ilang mga children kay wata kahibaw nga games ra wata kahibaw kung na sila ma-access nga lain through ra pud sa ilang mga kauban. So that would be all sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Charity. You hit on two things there, and I think this might be helpful for Domingo to come back to Vincent, and Mary Joy. Domingo, thank you for coming back. It's a troublesome thing, definitely having a poor internet connection, but I'm glad that you're still there. While you were out, I hope you can hear me. While you were out, I was asking Charity what else you could focus on other than bringing the discussion to bear on what students of education, such as Vincent and Mary Joy, can do at the individual level to prevent virtual violence. Mary Joy, of course, said something about doing seminars and activities with students, and I wonder what these seminars or activities can focus on so that it can prevent virtual violence. And we lost Domingo again, and Leia has excused himself because she's having very poor connection. That's all right, Leia. We understand that. Let's listen to Doris now while we're waiting for Domingo to come back in. Do you have any thoughts about Sir Domingo's activity so far, Doris?
Good evening, sir. And good evening, ang kaubang mga evaluators. And mo alam ko sa comment ni Ma'am Charity. Kinahanglan mag-careful ta kung sa atong isulti, atong i-chat or i-text through sa atong social media kay wala di ta balo kung ang mudaw sa atong message nga gihatag kung maghatag balik impact sa ilaha kung kanya pa makahatag og maayo or dili. So kay kita nga nag-consent message but ang atong expectation yung murag joke lang pero sa uban lahi na ay ang ilang interpretation nato. So murag naka-learn kung ano sir through sa akong gibuhat sa chat group nato. So kinahanglan jud nga responsible ta nga kanang sa atong gibuhat kinahanglan before nato buhat na mag chat or mag-message ato jud nga hunaon kung kana ba maayo ba na o makahatag mag-ayuhan. Unya ang akong additional na answer is kinahanglan jud nga naay proper kanang monitoring ang kanang mga ginikanan na proper monitoring sa ilang mga anak sa paggamit sa gadget kay anamang din nila makuha ang kanang mga negative nga kung sobra ra sila sa paggamit na sila daghan nga makuha na kanang kuan o paano dili lang sa personal na makakuha sila og image based sa kanang news na kung too much kang gamit og kanang internet madaot ang kanang imong dili lang imong kamo ay mong kanang ang imong mata kinang daghan jud ang side effects so kinahanglan jud nga na ay proper monitoring. So ang advice nga angay anak sa kinahanglan based po sa kanang sa reports pero lang nakuan na kinahanglan na limit at least 2 hours labi na og bata pag yun dili makaangay nga i-expose og gadget. Maulang ka to, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much for these thoughts. Sir Domingo, I hope you can hear me. Thank you for coming back. I'd just like to read the things that were discussed while you were out. Perhaps this will help you do the second part and finish the activity, hopefully hitting on your objectives there. We believe that after listening to the first part, it will be important for you to focus on the question, how can students of education like Vincent and Mary Joy prevent virtual violence, to specify and pursue the how do you say, the suggestion of Mary Joy to really do seminars and activities with students who, of course, use social media and online platforms to do their work and to continue studying, etc. Charity has said that it's important for, and I'll use this phrase because I heard it before, this idea of think before you click, thinking before clicking. This is a famous and popular phrase among media literacy seminars, media literacy activities or programs, and this also mirrors what Doris has said concerning responsible social media use. Charity and Doris also hit on, I think, a similar note when Charity spoke about expanding parental guidance. We just can't apply parental guidance on, say, tri-media, traditional forms of media. Um, uh, Parental guidance is, of course, almost an accepted norm for television watching, radio listening, and looking at print media. However, we need to extend the concept of parental guidance so that it also covers the consumption of children and youngsters, even students in graduate schools or in colleges, when they're using social media and online resources for studying and working. Doris termed this limiting screen time. This is, of course, more applicable to children rather than adults, I would say. Although the effects are quite, I, I would say the effects are across the board. If too much screen time can affect children, we can see similar effects, negative effects on adult users. Thank you very much, Charity, and Doris. Will excuse Leia for now because she doesn't have very good signal. And we're once again waiting for Domingo because we've lost them a third time. Hopefully when they come back in, they can finish the second part of the activity and we can proceed with the post-activity evaluation. We're joined by the clinic manager, Josh. So good evening and thank you for being here. I'll be asking Jurley and I'll be leaving Josh so he can just take a breather, just entering the virtual room here. Perhaps we can, while waiting for Domingo, listen to some thoughts coming from the clinic IT, who's also been here since the very beginning. Sir Jurley, do you have any thoughts concerning how Domingo can proceed with the second part of the activity? Perhaps some things that Charity, Doris, and myself have not been able to point out. Oh, Domingo is back. Sir Domingo, I hope you have a healthier connection now. You will find the comments in the chat box of this virtual room. In the interest of time, Domingo, please proceed with the second and last part of your activity. Go ahead. Perhaps Domingo is setting up microphone and camera to get started. You will find the suggestions in the chat box, Domingo. We feel that it will be important for the second part for you to focus on responsible social media use, parental guidance extending to social media use and working online, perhaps for those who are approaching the age of majority, students who are 16 years old or 17 years old. Charity spoke about thinking before clicking, and to have Vincent and Mary Joy focus on what students of education can do at their level to prevent virtual violence. You may begin the second part, Sir Domingo. Go ahead.
Okay po, sir. Kanan. Sir, kanang di man hinay man ang sa akong cellphone, sir. Pwede og sa laptop na lang po, sir, mag-screen share.
Of course, no problem. yeah, do whatever you must. You may do that, Domingo. Go ahead.
So we so today so sa second part is mag-discuss ko about kani cyberbullying. So as what is cyberbullying? So kanina it is when a student use the internet, cell phone or other technology devices to send or post text or images intended to hurt, embarrass, threaten, torment or humiliate or intimidate their victim. So mo na siya ang cyberbullying. So, tactics. So, sa mga students, mo ni siya ang mga pamaagi pod nga cause of bullying. Gossip, meaning posting or sending cruel message to damage a person's reputation and relationship with others. So just like that kanina sa video, nga nag-gossip sila sa katong sa members sa group tapos ang ilang ipanan ang katong budget. Then exclusion mo to nga deliberately excluding someone from an online group. Then impersonation mo nang breaking into someone's online account and sending messages or making posts that will cause embarrassment or damage to the person's reputation and affect his or her relationship with others. So harassment, meaning repeatedly posting or sending offensive, rude, and insulting messages or posts mo nang mangharas na, di ba, na iuban. So cyber stalking. This is posting or sending unwanted or intimidating messages which may include threats. Flaming is also online fights were scornful and offensive. Messages are posted on website, forums, or blogs. Manang online fights sa
Website.
sige. So, outing and trickery is tricking someone into revealing secrets or embarrassing information which is then shared. So, online cyber threat mo nang mag-threat na remarks or on the internet threatening or implying violent behaviors, displaying and suicidal tendencies. Muna tong kanina nga message ang katong usa ka badging nga ingon nga mag kanang kill yourself nga sumato nga nagpakamatay siya. So, ang effects sa bullying is hurt feelings, anxiety, anger, fear, low self-esteem, poor academic performance, motor suicide, sadness, depression, shame, frustration, trust issues, and bullying habit. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. So, what? So, do you think cyberbullying is hurtful?
Oo.
Yes.
Yes.
Kaya naman,
Namiuban nga kung ano
sa
sa
mga
makasakit tayo na dyan ba as in nga para nila makasakit na pero katong ning bully mo para nila po dili pero katong yang gibully makasakit na.
Sige. So, cyberbullying is more harmful kaysa mag face-to-face. Mao ni ang rason because of permanence, audience size, familiarity, social networking, and speed. So, when we say permanence, meaning an insult or comments or images that can be preserved by the person who was bullied or by the others so that the victim may read or view them over and over again and the harm is inflecting with each reading or viewing mo nang kung once magbuli na sa online na naman dyan na
Oo.
maglisod na kag-delete or makita na dyan na siya din.
Daghan na makita.
Oh. Sa audience size, mas daghan siya ang makakita alabi nag-i-post, itag, mga yan na makita ang mga friend of friends, tapos familiarity. Many young people are friends with or know their cyberbully either through school or other personal connections, increasing the potential for embarrassment and humiliation. Social networking also is social networking sites such as Facebook, Messenger, or unsa pa, allow cyberbullies to engage in campaigns against a particular person which may involve many others. And speed is morning mas paspas si Java mo. Once mo post na nimo mas kuan na si Java. Dali ra kadyo. So sa next activity is mag I want you to kanang maghatag mo idea about unsaon man ang mga student like 16 years old, mga elementary or high school na para mas ma-prevent ang pag-bully or mga yan sa school. So, I will give you 5 minutes to answer then mag-sharing na kita. Yeah. Oh. So, pwede po mo mag-question o mag-sharing of ideas sa mga
Cyberbullying ito
about
Kanda ko, oh, ano, para ako ano ang subject.
so, paliobra mo sa what.
so
Okay. So, are you done, ma'am, sir?
Yes.
Sige. So, let's start with the sharing sa inyong answer, ma'am. Mm. So, kisay mo una ninyo. Ikaw, Sir Vincent. Okay. Sige, sir.
so ang pag-share
Kita. Di,
so first is to, to teach them positive online behavior and safety in how to recognize and report cyberbullying. Second, provide an exclusive and caring learning environment for students. Then third, building a positive sense of interpersonal through and development of self-awareness and self-management, interpersonal skills, and empathy and decision making and problem solving. So,
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, say Ma'am Mary Joy po.
So, katulong gigon yung ganina nga conduct activities sa eskwelahan like seminars about cyberbullying, katong parang halimbawa what are the effects and cause. Yeah. Coordination with local government units sa barangay, dili ra kay sa eskwelahan ra, kundi apil sa ang barangay para makahibaw po to na sa ang para makahibaw po to mga tao sa barangay kung unsa po ang about sa cyberbullying. So, kanya, positive school climate and environment conducive to the attainment of learning objectives. So, dapat at eskwelahan dapat positive ang environment, walay negative. Hindi ko naman gani bully sa eskwelahan, siguro para sa mga teacher, istoryaan na ito ng bully in a good way. So,
Sige, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Vince. So, maupod to, sir, ang mga activity, sir.
Thank you very much, Sir Domingo. Allow us to say a word of appreciation too to Mary Joy and Vincent. I hope the evaluators could also join me in thanking Sir Vincent and Ma'am Mary Joy. From my end, I'm really thankful that you're helping out Domingo not only to complete this activity, but more importantly, to really help him develop strategies or techniques that LNU and other schools can develop, utilize, and implement to prevent the rising number of cases of virtual violence, cyberbullying, cyber harassment, and whatnot. Hopefully, this has been an enlightening evening for the three of you. Thank you again, Vincent and Mary Joy, for your participation. Can we have a volunteer? We can't call on Leah because she has very poor reception where she is. Perhaps Charity can speak for Doris and Leah and thank Vincent and Mary Joy for their participation. Charity, will you please do the honors of thanking Domingo's two participants?
Good evening, Sir Vincent, and thank you so much for giving time, especially nga gabi karon. So, injo gihapon gi Google injong oras para malampuson ang activity ni Sir Domingo. Thank you so much.
There you go. And if those joining us online don't mind, can we open our cameras as a way of appreciating Mary Joy and Vincent's virtual presence? Let us also make ourselves present with them for a quick photo. There you go. Thank you very much. Charity has opened her cam there. Let's face the camera and give a smile. 3, 2, 1. Let's take another one. Just because sometimes we're cutting in and out. Even the video feeds are not that regular or stable. So let's do another one. Everybody, look at your camera. And 3, 2, 1. There you go. Thank you very much again, Vincent and Mary Joy, for joining us in tonight's activity. You're free to go you're free to go. If you need to carry on with the rest of your evening, while I ask Sir Domingo to remain for at least 10 more minutes to listen to the post-activity evaluation. Shall we start with Josh, the clinic manager, with his perception and his reading of the second part? He wasn't able to witness the first part, but definitely he was here to listen in or to tune in the second part of the activity, which concerned the different forms of virtual violence.
Oh,
Sir
this.
Domingo presented or shared his screen where he had certain definitions, and he also told us how impactful cyberbullying is because of the elements of the reach or the audience size, the familiarity, permanence, and speed with which cyberbullying can hit its victims. Josh, do you have any thoughts, comments, or any ideas which can help Domingo and educators like Vincent and Mary Joy make use of what has been learned tonight? Let's wait around for Josh. He might be preparing his microphone there. We'll come back to you, Josh, in just a few moments. We'll ask Doris now for her closing thoughts after the second part of Domingo's activity with Vincent and Mary Joy. What do you think, Doris?
For me, sir, for the victims of cyberbullying, so the most important protective factor nga imagine kinahanglan is emotional support from the family. Kaya mao jud ni ang kanang mao na ang kanang pinaka makatabang nila karon ang di sila mo resolve into depression, dili ka mo commit into suicide. So ang family jud ang kinahanglan nga naa mo gabay ngadto sa victims of bullying. So mao lang kadto, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So this comes close to the idea of Corrigan and Robertson, where they really talk about social regulation as well as social connection. So what Vincent said back there concerning the building of interpersonal skills, making sure that empathy, decision making, problem solving are skills that are, how do you say, nurtured not only online, but more importantly offline in families, according to Doris. This has a preventative effect in terms of virtual violence. Thank you, Doris, for your thoughts. Charity, your closing thoughts concerning the second part of Sir Domingo's activity?
Sir. So in my opinion, sir, so social environment sa atong victim or sa atong client, dapat siya mag-work hand in hand. So more on campaign or information drive for uh, anti-bullying campaign or something like that. No to bullying campaign. That's all, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the fact that you highlighted the social environments of both the victims and the bullies. There was the thought from Mary Joy concerning teachers engaging the bullies. Uh, of course, it's not going after them, but she highlighted that this has to be a compassionate caring for not just the victims, but also the bullies. This is, of course, a controversial step given anti-bullying measures as far as research and the literature goes. However, it is something that program coordinators or program designers, guidance counselors, school administrators, even officers or officials within the LGU might wish to explore. Thank you, Charity. Josh, your thoughts? Let's wait a while for the clinic manager. Might be opening his camera or might not be. Um, anyway, from my end, Sir Domingo, it was really refreshing that you did this activity, especially because most of the activities have focused on so far. That is, so far most of the activities that have been conducted have focused on physical health, and this by far is nearest to looking at the psychological dimension of many students and workers' experiences um, uh, using online tools, both for school and for work. Of course, the social environment of work was not as emphasized as I expected. Can you say a word about because many of the things that Joy and Vincent suggested as a way of preventing virtual violence was something I think designed within the context of the school as a social environment. But what about for those who are working from home? What about those who are not in school but are using online platforms to be able to do their work related to a company or an organization? How do you think they'd be able to prevent and support people who experienced virtual violence in work from home setups, Domingo?
Pinaagi sir sa pag-chat sa ilang mga messenger sir to mo na yung means of communication sir o kanang may da mga through sa GC sir sa admin sir na may ikanda pod ang kanang about bullying mga iyan na pod sir.
Mm,
Kung
right.
maghatag og support kung express sila kung unsa ilang gift na feel mga iyan.
Yes, yes. And this has something to do with Vincent's suggestion, of course, of recognizing and reporting situations or incidents of virtual violence to a third party, to another person who can provide some sort of supervision or oversight, monitoring, or regulation, whether it's the group chat administrator or the FB page administrator, whoever this person is. There is a need for individuals who experience virtual violence not to just let go of it, because it is certainly, according to Corrigan and Robertson, the lack of social regulation, the lack of any power to do something about cyberbullying and cyber harassment that perpetuates it. It keeps on happening because people feel powerless. They feel powerless in terms of the negative impact of this hurtful situation on them, and they feel powerless to change or to prevent these incidents from recurring. With that, we've already taken up so much of each other's time. Thank you, Charity. Thank you very much, Doris, to the clinic IT and to the clinic manager for joining us tonight, for allotting some parts of your Tuesday evening to help Domingo out. Thanks again, and goodbye. Hopefully, this has been insightful for everyone here. Domingo, thanks again
Thank you
for
sir.
setting this up. All right, bye bye.
Thank you
Thank you po,
classmates.
sir.
Bye bye,
Thank you.
Charity. Bye, Doris.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
Josh and
Thank you,
Kelly.
sir. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tata.
Bye.
Sir
Yes.
Domingo.
Thank you.